Oh, hi everyone. This is another episode of Soul Citizen. We're here to talk about CitizenCon 2013. So welcome, and let me introduce. Let our guests introduce themselves, starting with Kimmy
KEMI65, how you doing? Glad to be here tonight.
and TenthSigma.
Hello. Go Sevens, everyone. Good to see everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
So, like I said, still talking about CitizenCon 2013, all the way back in 2013. Can you believe it? Been almost 7 years. Um, I put the link if anyone wanted to follow along in Twitch chat, so that if the audio doesn't really sync up with you, you can do it that way. So, anything you guys want to say anything before we get started?
This CitizenCon was the sitcon right before I became a subscriber. So I'm actually curious to see what it's all about. I've actually ventured back this far. Became a sub in 2014. So it should be a good one, hopefully.
Yeah, I got a little nugget to share with that as far as 2013 as well. I as well went in as far as a backer along the lines of that same year. I think it was October that I became a backer of 2013. But as a sidebar, this is an interesting sidebar with CitizenCon 2013. At that time, there was a Dragon Con event that was held by SIG themselves, and it involved David Ladyman. He was the original guy who did the Jump Point magazine. He was the editor, the original editor. Sandy was there, and Ben Lesnick, as well as David Haddock, was there on that event. And we did some. They pretty much revealed that day the Endeavor ship, and I got some pics too to show you. That was like the inaugural. That was like the starting of a VerseCon. I want to.
That's coming in. There it goes.
There
There you
we
go.
go. The gentleman in the hat is David Ladyman. There's Ben, me of course. There's Sandy and David Haddock in the Haddock.
I don't think I've ever seen you without your hat before. That's my first time seeing you without a hat.
Hey, watch it. Watch it. But yeah, Ben actually brought in a Asus gaming laptop that day, and opened it up, and then we started talking. Went through the Q&A, and then he revealed the Endeavor that day. And it was at that time it was selling for about $335, which was way out of my gaming budget, right? But I was so kind of thrilled to see that ship. But yeah, that was a little sidebar. They did a Dragon Con event that year of CitizenCon, so it was held in Atlanta of 2013. So yeah, let's push it on forward. But yeah, interesting.
And as for me, like I backed in October 2014, so this is a year before I backed. And I keep forgetting what it was about 2014 that intrigued me, but we'll find out at a later episode. But as for this episode, I watched a little bit of it so far, and I had it on the background more so than watch it. So, but for the most part, this will be my initial reaction. So I'm excited to get this started. Anything else you wanted to add, Tent?
No, it sounds good, man. I'm ready to jump into it.
All right, let's go.
But in the meantime, the kind folks at Kickstarter have offered to help out. We'll be launching a Star Citizen Kickstarter page. Stretch goals are on the road. We'll be much fun. There's two big targets left. 6,000 clicks out. Alpha Wing, we need a hit Kickstarter. Beta Wing, we'll be swarming the RFI website. We need all of you. Tell your family. Tell your friends. Tell your pets if that's what it takes. off-run upgrades, extra ships, whole new tiers, whatever gets us over the top. We have 1 week left.
Travis makes a good point. Being one of the oldest concepts that hasn't filed.
Alright guys, go in. So new office. Check it out, we move in Saturday actually.
Eric Wingman Peterson. One of the artists. Those guys work together at Origin. Me too, Shiver.
It's amazing how many people are still
Smith.
there.
Oh yeah. Toast.
Introducing the 2943 $300.
I am finally almost synced the video now.
Content creators.
See, a lot of this stuff is out of context for me, so I'm not getting some of the in jokes, but that kid punching out their must have been a meme back then or something.
Yeah, that was the Wingman's, I think one of the devs' daughter.
This is the best job
Doing
ever,
the
and
good
you're the reason
backwards.
why it's the best job ever.
Hangar. Oh yeah. Hangar was a big deal back then.
Yeah, the main reason I wanted to go through this is see what technology they had back then, how much it changed.
The buggy escapades. I remember that.
That was before my time. I wish I was around for that part. That would have been fun for me.
It's nuts.
Now here's the other thing that I'm not really seeing. They have the funding goal beneath the next funding goal underneath the funding goal.
And this is pre what they call PBR, physical based rendering. That's why it looks kind of little. It's good artwork, but it looks a little cartoonish compared to what we have. So they started implementing physical based rendering into the game, which gives more realistic texture.
And like I was saying before about the funding goal thing, they had the CitizenCon underneath the funding goals. I wasn't sure
Yes.
if that was a funding goal back then or something they were trying to get toward, or what was that?
Well, the funding came in like fast and furious, and then all of a sudden Chris was saying he started dangling the carrot and said, "Hey, you know, because we're getting so much funding, do you want this? Do you want this?" And then all of a sudden, that was the birth of the funding goals. Those goals were in place to say we want this, 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 and then they started hitting those goals based on the funds being added to the project.
No, I was asking specifically about CitizenCon, because I was based underneath that.
We launched, and I think our delay started like
Audio's got to be a little bit wonky, because this is their first time, so bear with them.
CR is not as great.
everyone for persisting. It's amazing. We have a huge amount.
I'm
of
just making a
people
joke. He loves
here,
what he's doing,
part of
man.
the
He
team
loves
making
it.
the game, plus a good amount of people that are also part of the community that are helping enable this game to get made. And it's actually really nice. So we thought that the idea of today, and we'll do this every year on October 10th, is to create a get-together to sort of celebrate the game and the universe, the team, talk about what
two.
we've been doing on the team, and also
Aha,
interact
Shipper.
with the community. So this CitizenCon, so to speak, is smaller. It's the smallest it'll be. Next
Oh,
year
yeah,
will be
that's
much
tradition,
bigger,
Shipper.
and we'll give people more warning, allow more people to be able to join. Here, obviously, we're fairly limited because we've got a lot of team members, and there's only so many seats we can have in this fairly small venue, so we're going to have to find a bigger venue than this. We've grown much bigger than we were at the beginning. It was fit, I don't know, 10 foot by 10 foot room at the start. So I thought one of the nice things to do on the
I think we
one-year
all were.
anniversary would be to have the various
We were a little slimmer then.
departments and groups.
We
of
were
people
all
who
slimmer
work
and
on
younger.
the game, talk a little bit about themselves, and sort of give a little anecdote. Also,
And less
everyone
gray
can sort of
hair.
meet them and see them.
Less salty.
Because we've got
Some of
incredibly
us.
talented
Less
people.
salty, yeah.
I get a lot of applause. Thank you very much for that. But I couldn't do this without the team that's working on this game. I've got incredible good people. And so it's definitely the most, no offense to my past teams, but I definitely feel like the team I've got now is the most talented team that I've ever worked with, and I think we're going to do something great here. And then on top of that, we have this amazing community. I mean, we are really the first game of this scope or this level that is 100% funded and backed by the people that love this kind of game and want to play this kind of game. And I think that's an incredibly special thing, because there's no other agenda. The only agenda we have is making something that is as cool as possible, that is as fun as possible for everybody, because we're all game players, and everybody that's backing, you guys are, everyone out there on the internet, back as we have inside here, all you guys, you love this kind of game so much that you're willing to help finance it well before it's going to get made. And that is an amazing thing, and we all appreciate on the team your support, and we're going to try our best to make
DNA, man.
the best damn space sim ever. So I think first up, we're going to run the design team, which is led by our lead designer, Rob Irving. Where Rob is somewhere in the, there he is. So let's run the design team's video, and then after, I would like all the people that are part of the design group to stand up so everyone can see them at the end of the video. Okay, so let's run the video, please.
It started with a dream that Chris Roberts has been carrying his head for more than 20 years.
It doesn't look like they're using PowerPoint this time.
Waiting for the right time. That time is now.
Rob.
The Cloud Imperium design team's job is to take the vision of Chris Roberts and break it into its component parts, making the set of rules that will eventually lead to the Star Citizen universe. Design got started early with Ben Lesnick cranking out material as fast as he could during the crowdfunding campaign.
Chris had a very clear vision for Star Citizen, but because of the crowdfunding campaign, we needed to get information out to our backers as quickly as possible. That meant taking a lot of Chris's ideas and working out specific systems sooner than we might normally do in a game development process. My job, along with Dave Haddock and Chris, was to take some of Chris's ideas and create specific systems that would be public-facing, especially
actually, when
the
they went to
planets that you would
Austin,
be visiting and the
They
ships
already
you would
had
be
that
flying and
meeting
pledging
table.
for.
It stayed.
Which meant that when Chris had an idea like a multi-person crewed ship, we got together and turned it into the
Oh, yeah,
Constellation,
it did
or
get
a
big.
luxury ship, which became the BMW of space, the 300i. It was a lot of fun, it was a crazy time, and we laid down a lot of the fiction for our game in those days.
Take a look at the Star Citizen website, and the comm links in particular, to see just how much work Ben and Dave did in those early days. Meanwhile, our community was growing very fast, so Pete Mackey was brought on board to help Ben. What happened then was the initial design of many of our systems, including the Star Citizen economy.
So for the economy, Chris knew that he wanted to create the most detailed economy that he'd ever seen in a game. And so the first time that he
This guy
had
was
come out to
actually a
Austin, we
DJ.
were at a bar, and I asked him if I could take a crack at some design work on it, and he said, sure, but don't feel too bad if I don't like what you give me. But apparently he did, and so we've kind of moved forward on that. And so we have, in the last few months, really started to work on supply chains. We have started to work on mining mechanics. We have even gone up to Montreal to work with Behavior, and they've started working on our new simulation tool. It's not really what you would see in the game, but it gives us kind of a sandbox that we can play in to see what the different kinds of values and numbers and the interactions between different aspects of the economy will do.
Big economy, big universe, big design job. So they brought me on board as the first design hire at Cloud Imperium. And then we brought in Dan Tracy to get some valuable CryEngine experience. And Nate Blaisdell was
John
soon
Tracy's
added on
brother,
as my
little brother.
second in
John
command.
Oh,
Tracy's.
okay.
When we
Yep.
finally brought Pete over full time, and then brought in Blake, the design team was complete.
So we've got a lot of stuff coming up. We've got starships, we've got bringing the world to life, we've got hundreds and hundreds of systems, and we've got some stuff coming up more immediately for the hangar.
Over the last few months, we've been doing a lot of iteration, and we're getting to the point now where we can actually take stuff out of the spreadsheets and get them into the game. And to help speed that process up even faster, Dan just yesterday built us a really cool weapons testing rack where we can just attach weapons to it and fire them without them having to be attached to a ship.
Over the past year, we've been laying the groundwork for what will become Star Citizen and Squadron 42. First big task was bringing the hangar to the citizens.
So after the artists and the programming team had the hangar
That
up
was
and
a
running,
big
it was
deal.
on the design team to start helping to optimize it. That was our first chance to really start learning the CryEngine tools, and it was really a collaborative effort among every discipline on the team and all the different studios.
So look forward to seeing a lot more ships, weapons, and stats in the upcoming months. Meanwhile, we haven't forgotten our roots. Under Chris's guidance, Dave Haddock and John Schimmel have been working on the storyline for Squadron 42. So stay tuned as we head into space and beyond.
They've been around forever.
And it's all possible.
Haddock worked
because
on
you
some
out
of the
there.
movies he wrote
Hundreds
for
of thousands of Star
Chris's
Citizens
movies.
who have helped Chris bring epic space gaming back to life. So happy birthday, Star Citizen. We'll see you in the verse.
We'll have these videos up. I actually believe that there was an output error on that video because there was actually some footage. We weren't deliberately redacting those black screens. But the design team should
Beginning of
stand
the
up,
tradition.
and Dan, let's have Dan stand up first because we were so rushed getting all this in, we didn't get to get the all the footage, and Dan was he wasn't there when they shot the footage in Austin because he was in LA, and then he was out here at our modular design summit while we.
That's
shot the
John
footage in
Tracy's
LA,
little
so
brother.
basically he kind of missed both of them. But he's doing some amazing work. Dan actually used to work at Crytek, and he's really helping us a lot with using the engine. But everyone from
Even then,
design-
they were not poaching people, but hiring people away from what Crytek
Right.
looked like.
Oh, yeah. And they were called Cry Evangelists back in the day.
Huh.
The development team.
Yeah, you guys are fantastic. All right, so we have another.
So correct me if I'm
equally
wrong,
talented
but this is
group of
in
people,
Austin, correct?
in
This
their
year?
video. Hopefully, we won't have
2013.
black
I
screen
believe
anymore.
so. Yeah, they were in Austin
so
at the time.
Let's meet the programmers.
I'd like to give you the story.
It's
of
interesting to
engineering
see
here at
who's
Cloud
on
Imperium. It all started when Chris
the
had
company
the
that
vision
were around back
of
then.
Star Citizen, and he did the
Not company,
prototype,
but
he evaluated engines,
cities that they were in.
He chose CryEngine, and then everybody knows the story of the prototype and the.
This guy that they just
After that,
introduced, he has a
started hiring
side
a team,
development
and that's
company
when
called
many
Moon
engineers
Collider, I
joined.
believe.
I remember that
And
one.
they were
implemented the
in
hangar
charge of doing the AI.
Many engineers worked on many different pieces of this. Jeff Uriarte did the procedural hangar generation, where the hangar expands.
So in 2013, they had the hangar
depending on the
module,
number of ships
but
you
they didn't
have.
have Lunar Commander,
at Cloud
if I'm
Imperium.
not
I'm
mistaken,
a
correct?
senior programmer.
No.
I already knew about the project. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity that it wasn't something I could pass up. And I'm really glad to be here.
I'm Josh Holloway. A lot of people may have noticed that after the first patch, a lot of the lighting in the ships changed. It turned out all of the lighting files from all of the ships were being completely removed from the build for the final build system. And I was the one who managed to find that and fix it. After that first patch, it was someone who said something along the lines of, it's almost as if someone found the light switch and turned it on. And I read that and sort of thought to myself, I was the guy who found the light switch and turned it on.
Paul Reindell did the ship customization and inventory system, including the hard
He was in the recent
weapons
Pillar
and
Talk.
holotape.
This guy's from
I was pretty
Germany.
impressed when I first saw the stuff Chris made for the initial prototype.
That changed a lot, the
Chris was
holotable.
the only guy who worked on the
Yeah, they
initial
took that
prototype.
out.
And
Yeah.
he programmed a lot. And I was pretty impressed that one guy could achieve all this in probably less than
I remember that.
My name is
Target,
Brendan, and I work at
weapons
Cloud Imperium Games here in Austin, and I'm a programmer on the engine team. So I help to create new features in the engine, just advance the look and feel of the game, and work out what we need.
Brendan Jackson did the optimization and profiling with CryEngine so we could display all of the ships and all the components on screen at once.
It was
with a good
him and
frame
two
rate.
other guys that composed Moon Collider that did all the AI in game.
Tom Sawyer did the server backend so you could log in with the game client and receive your ship data. Kyle Rockman implemented the launcher, which you all see when you first start the game, and it patches and updates all the game and all the data. And he also did the build system, which behind the scenes is always building our code and data, do our official builds.
I don't think I've ever seen the early launcher.
Jeff Zhu joined us towards the end of the hangar development, and he helped with lots of ship animation and character animation fixes and improvements.
My name is Jeffrey Zhu. My most memorable moment might be trying to shove asteroids into Bengal Carrier's carrier bay with a Hornet, just to see if I could, and exploding horribly.
Jared Jacobs also joined towards the hangar development as a web developer, and he
Some
worked
things never
with
change.
our external web developers, Turbulent, on website fixes and improvements. For the future, we're
Turbulent
working
was
on
around
space
back then,
flight,
okay.
specifically the dogfighting
Oh, yeah.
module, which is the next big release you'll see. The LA engineering team has grown with lots of great engineers, and we're working on things like weapons and shield
Mark
effects
Davis,
and
Bug
artificial
Smaster, baby.
intelligence. Working together with our engineering teams at Star Citizen's partners, we're going to bring you an awesome dogfighting experience.
Mark is brilliant.
Happy birthday, Star Citizen.
Und an alle deutschen Fans am Ende noch, dank für eure Unterstützung. Wir machen das auf jeden
Pillar Talk. Hopefully this is not his last Pillar Talk.
Programmers should stand up. Let's hear it for the programmers. Stand up, programmers. There you go. Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
I wonder what venue they're at that year.
So
It looks
it's
like
actually
the-
quite telling
the
that
one
most of the
in
programmers are in the
2018
back. They don't really want to be in the front in the limelight, but they do amazing work. So you guys are great.
The one in 2018 is much bigger.
So the last sort of, well, actually we've got, I wouldn't say, but the last group that's involved in the actual core development of the game.
Yeah, they did change
will
it. It
run
was a
up now,
smaller
and
venue
obviously
in Austin.
the artists, and I
They
think
made it bigger.
we've got an
It's a bigger
incredible
venue.
group of artists who are doing some amazing stuff, and you know, it's always cool to look at like great imagery. So let's run the art reel.
Chris Smith.
Chris Smith. Boris is still around.
Mark Skelton, gold shirt. Hazy Thoughts. Remember Hazy Thoughts?
I like some of these artworks.
Yeah, that was cool in the beginning. And I hope
This
they
is
keep
before-
bring this in.
This is before Jeremiah Lee joined, I guess.
What was one of the jokes
say,
from,
yeah.
What was that, Chen?
No, I'm just looking at this concept design, and this looks pretty cool. But then when
Yeah.
Jay Lee coming in, like, and building on this, is pretty dope. FanDuel.
Yep.
These ships, man. I mean, you guys have seen the ships. They're crazy daunting.
Mark
I mean,
Skelton's joke,
so
one of
many
his
moving
jokes.
parts, so
Here's
many
one
little
of his
things. I
jokes.
mean, for all of those
If
to
a
come
mine
online the way they have has been
Uses a
really
a
satisfying
gun to shoot
for
you.
me.
Should he have a silencer?
amazing to see what has changed and what hasn't. The constellation is basically the same.
It makes me say, hey, go back and look at some of this stuff and bring it back, bring it in.
The freelancer.
That one? I like that one. Well, it goes by so fast. That's one of the Vandal ones.
Oh my gosh, look at those locations. Wow. All I can say is wow. That was terror.
Early shield development.
And you know what? It's to say that, who's to say that this won't be in the game going forward still? Some of this concept art we're looking at.
Right.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Is that a Super Hornet right there?
I mean the logo.
Happy birthday, Star
icon.
Citizen.
Happy birthday, Star Citizen. Happy birthday.
Two.
Star Citizen. Cloud Imperium.
Thank you.
Robert Space Industries. I don't what the name is. We changed it to Cloud. Happy birthday, Star Citizen.
We still have that issue. Now the Cloud Imperium with the game.
May the force be with you.
It looks a little bit like Jake Ross, the director down at Austin Studio. Mark was a character.
You want to stand up? I think you should. I will definitely say that it makes it very easy to code or design things when you have such great art, and it just makes you want to put it in and see it function. So you guys are doing an amazing job. So we thought, besides the fact that we're just doing a review and kind of generally saying happy birthday for 1 year, we also want to add some fun things for everyone out there. So no one's seen the Gladiator yet. Since we're talking about spaceships and art, we're going to show the final conceptual work on the Gladiator, which is pretty awesome, very fully
Gladiator
realized.
is the bomber.
I think you guys will like it. So this is the sort of world premiere of the Gladiator. So let's roll the first image.
It's white and red is his colors, I believe. There it is.
Let's go to the next one.
Yeah, I was always like switching between, not switching, but what you call it, wishy-washy between the Super Hornet and the Gladiator. But I went with the Super Hornet finally.
Yeah. Made more sense. Gladiator's really specific in its role.
But I always liked the idea of a missile boat. That's why I did freelance at MIS.
And the Gladiator is definitely one of the ships you're gonna need in theater of war.
Good call. Yeah.
We actually, in the case of the Gladiator, a couple of
0710.
We are going to put them on our site for a limited time until Monday morning. So I believe if the web team is pressing the button now, Gladiator may actually be live on our site. But it's great. It's designed by David Dobbins, who's David Hobbs.
You can tell the Gladiator is one of the early concept ships from the way it looked, but it still aged pretty well.
Yes.
It's done some of our most iconic designs.
Yeah, I have the CCU for the wildfire. I haven't applied it yet to my Super Hornet.
I thought the other thing that would be really
Oh, you
good
like
for
the
everyone out there in
wildfire?
the community here is
I like the look of it, and the armaments of it are cool. But I'm not sure if it's worth $15 just to have the armaments when you can just pay for them in game.
talented group of
Yeah.
development partners. There's actually a few that
I guess the thing is you pay for it, it's baked in, and the design
we
is
wanted to introduce you
pretty much
to the
set.
ones that you should know their work because they're doing some really great stuff for us. So the first is Behavior, who are based in Montreal.
I'm trying to justify that because I did that with the Carrot, the Expedition series. Guilty. In case I get called out.
There's a few more people from Behavior that are down here, but we were actually taking the opportunity
Behavior.
of doing this 1 year anniversary. We actually had a summit, which we were calling the Modular Summit.
They've been
where
around
we
a
were
bit.
Working on how we're going to essentially build all the planet-side environments and not take 452 years to do it. There's a fair amount of stuff where there will be some modular architecture that we can put together, and then there'll be some unique stuff. And we had a summit where the key teams that are both from internal and external that are working on this came together over the last 2 days to discuss and share ideas and push forward our thinking on what the pipeline has been. So we actually have, that's one of the reasons why I have a lot of our partners down here, which is fantastic. But let's roll Behavior's video and we'll hear a little more about what Behavior is doing on Star Citizen.
So it shows early on that Chris is getting a team together and getting departments together on specific aspects of the game.
Hello Star Citizen, welcome to Behavior Montreal's office. I'm Mathieu Beaulieu, one of the producers on Star Citizen. Well, I'm here to present you my team. So one of our main mandates here at Behavior is creating a vast amount of planet for you to explore. We have hired the best talent in Montreal to deliver rich and breathtaking environment for you to explore and interact with. Concept artists, 3D artists, environment artists, and level designers
Barely.
are all working together to define the best pipeline for the planet creation process.
I barely
It is
remember
important for
Behavior.
us that each environment has a unique feel to it. We want you to be able to quickly
And their
recognize
logo was
which planet
how
you
it
are
was spelled,
on
but it wasn't
from the
spelled
first time you land
exactly
on
as
it.
Behavior. I think.
Architectural style of the buildings, vista elements, corporate ownership of the planet, and atmospheric ambience are a few of the elements that we studied to make each planet unique.
Some of the stuff is still in the
time,
game.
We don't want you to get lost or having to use a map to find your way on a new planet. We want you to be able to find your way to a specific merchant easily. Planet layout, store configuration, pathways key.
It's funny how they
and
say
landing
they
sequence
don't want us
are
to get
all
lost
being
on a
worked
planet, but
to
getting
achieve
lost in
that
a ship
goal.
is fine.
But that's not all. We're also
Yeah,
working
that's
on
my
the
problem
economy
with these
system,
larger ships.
as presented by Chris Roberts a few weeks ago. We're also making good progress on the avatar customization system and planning for a social hub where you'll be able to gather with your friends and plan for your next mission.
On behalf of everybody up here at Behavior Montreal, we want to give a big, huge thanks to all the fans and backers of the project. It's because of you that we get to work on such a cool game. So,
Happy birthday, Star Citizen!
Unlike Ilphonic, it seems like these guys got it right as far as helping out with the project.
Behavior is working on some really great stuff. We haven't shown you all the stuff yet.
They're Canadian-based too, along with Turbulent.
The next development partner that I want to introduce is Void Alpha. They're also tasked with working on the various planet-side environments. I may have said this before in interviews, but I think Rob can correct me, what are we, 105 systems, 110 systems on the initial build? And then, of course, each system can have multiple planets, and each planet potentially can have multiple landing locations. So I believe we're about 450 or 60 different locations you can visit down on planets. So that's a lot of stuff. So we're going to need a lot of people to do that, and we're really focusing at the early days on figuring out what our pipeline is.
Wow.
So behavior is a key part of that, and The second development partner I'm going to introduce is also a key part of that. It's a company called Void Alpha, and one of the nice things, which I guess you'll see in the video, but one of the principals of Void Alpha is Mark Day, who worked with me on Wing Commander 3 and Wing Commander 4.
I don't recall Void Alpha at all.
After I left to form Digital Anvil. So
I don't
we have a
remember
lot of working
either.
history together and had a great time.
Yeah, 400 plus
pretty,
locations.
decent
They're going to have multiple locations
and
on
it's
one
great to be
planet,
working again with him. But
definitely, in
let's
order
run
to
Void
fulfill
Alpha
that
video so you can
promise.
meet the rest of the Void Alpha team, and then afterwards.
Well, if you consider a whole planet that they have now, a planet can have 400 locations. It's just not identified.
That's true.
Void Alpha, I don't recall.
Greetings, Star Citizens. We are Void Alpha. We're located in the San Francisco Bay Area. San Francisco, the iconic city by the bay, cable cars, the waterfront, all of which we can occasionally see from our offices directly across the bay in beautiful Emeryville, California. Here at Void Alpha, we've been working on planet-side environments for Star Citizen. Our designers create a rough 3D model of an environment called the white box. The concept artists add detail and sometimes color.
A.K.A. Michael.
The concept art is then used by our production artists to create environments to be used in the game. Let's meet some of our talented staff.
Hi, my name's Miranda, and I'm a 3D artist here at Void Alpha. What I like best about working on the Star Citizen project is the use of the new CryEngine. It allows the artists to work more in detail and not have the limitations of technology that we used to have in the past.
What I like most about working on Star Citizen is building the planet-side locations that players will be running around on, and then seeing concept and environment make those locations look even more amazing than I originally imagined. I'm Gabriel Galaz, and I'm a level designer at Void Alpha. In the past, I've worked on the Resistance and Ratchet & Clank franchises, and most recently Star Wars 1313 and First Assault. What I'm looking forward to the most about playing Star Citizen is flying around in spaceships and killing people with my friends.
What I like best about working on Star Citizen probably is because I'm such a huge Wing Commander fan. And it's a new universe.
What if they brought anyone over from Void Alpha
about the old games? I'm Dennis Renshaw, and I am a senior environment artist. Well, working with the CryEngine, I'm actually enjoying a lot.
Some of the stuff
I've played around with it a little bit, but never done it in a professional capacity. So I'm actually just enjoying everything, actually being able to do that now.
The best thing for me about working on Star Citizen, getting to work closely with Chris again. We've been friends for many, many years, and on a professional level, he's always had such a strong vision. Really, the most fun and exciting times in my professional career was when we were working on projects.
I do remember the name Mark Day.
Yeah, he's not with the project anymore.
But he was.
Yeah.
Did he move into Cloud Imperium, or you stayed with Void Alpha the whole time?
I'm not sure, but I think his last days were with the next big the next Starship contest. And that was it after that.
I can't believe it's already been a year from Star Citizen. It doesn't seem that long ago that Chris came to me with a demo he'd been working on and telling me about a Kickstarter. So I guess it's happy birthday, Star Citizen. But you know, I think the best is yet to come.
He had a much bigger beard towards the end, though.
I think the Void Alpha folks here, do you want to stand up so people can... There's Mark over here. We're missing some... Where are the artists? Oh, there you are, in the back there. There you go. So the next group that we're going to run a short video, and I believe there's actually a lot of dialogue on it, is CG Bot, who some of the members are here. So Sergio Rosas worked with me at Origin as an art director, and the same at Digital Anvil, is incredibly talented and passionate, and has always done amazing work. And we have Rita, who I guess you're the sort of business head of there, and also in the old days we worked together at Digital Anvil, so I believe you two guys kind of slightly may have met because Rita was, a long time ago, my executive assistant. So it's great to work with both of you guys again, and it's great to have you here. And then Tara, sitting next to him, is the producer at CGBot, and she worked at Digital Anvil with us all too, with Jason Decker, who is not actually
that was
at
Mark
CGBot,
Day's
but,
company. Oh, boy.
we worked at Origin and
It was a contract.
yes, and at Digital Anvil.
If anyone wants to follow along and hasn't
He's
picked up the YouTube link at
successful
around
another developer here.
37 minutes and 35 seconds.
Pocket Legends, right? And you've got there's a sci-fi one too, I think. I forget now. Anyway, I'm too busy making games now, making this game. So do you guys want to stand up and say hi? Okay, great. And so there's an incredibly talented team that's actually down in Monterrey, Mexico, that aren't here today, but you're going to see on the video. And they actually, CGBot actually worked on all the prototype assets that were in CryEngine. So the Hornet, and the Carrier, and the...
Kimmy, are you trying to get a free t-shirt from CSG?
I got one, but I'll take another one. It feels so good, though.
The prototype and the assets that I demoed with were actually built by CGBot over the previous year of me working on the prototype, and actually...
they just talked...
to do a bunch of that
they just talked about Void Alpha about 38 minutes into the video.
Not to spend so much. So this is actually the team we'll see in this video that's doing it. So it's
Mark
pretty
Day's
brief,
company.
Let's just run it, and we'll see everyone working on Star Citizen spaceships and characters.
I don't know this company at all.
Definitely don't remember these guys. I remember it was a Latin company. South America, they hired on. So this is them. Don't remember the name.
I think I stopped it on here. This will be all new for me from here on out.
They did some really good work, though.
Yes, Shiver, Romans. A lot more people were camera shy back then.
But Martine and the rest of the CGBot team that are back in Mexico, if they're watching this, you should stand up and take a virtual round of applause. Since actually CGBot are one of the major partners that's building a lot of our spaceships, that sort of brings us to the second spaceship reveal, although this one isn't in engine, but it is a final conceptual. It is the Retaliator, the Aegeus Retaliator, as designed by Ryan Church, who is pretty much the superstar of conceptual designers. So let's show a little bit of the Retaliator. You guys will like this as well. I like that shot.
Here it is.
Wow.
But maybe this is why Anvil and Aegis ships look so alike to me. Because back then they came out at around the same time.
And there's even a luxury apartment module you can get for it. So this is if you're on a desert.
I'll say this again. No physical base rendering on this.
I mean, they've definitely gotten a lot more sleeker in the design since then.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And again, like the Gladiator, for this weekend until I don't know exactly what time on Monday noon, maybe PST or something. Again, you'll be able to get a Retaliator. All right, and we're going to make a transition here, but I wanted one group we don't have a video from, but we have a few members here that we really do owe a nice round of thank you to, is Crytek, because without Crytek's help and support and their engine, we wouldn't be here. So I know Sean's here. Who else from Crytek is here? Yeah, stand up, come on. Stand up. So we're actually quite lucky because Crytek just opened an Austin office here a few months ago. So it's
what deal with
to them about engine changes we want. But I have to say, even during the prototype, everyone was awesome because Paul in the program, I think, said that I did all the programming, which is kind of true, but not fully, because I had a huge amount of help from everybody.
Versus says CR is the virtual Elon Musk.
Their email addresses so I could bypass the forums. And I would email them directly and go, hey, what about this piece of code? And I would sort of phrase it in a way that'd be like, if you guys want to fix it for me, that'd be great. And they did it a fair number of times. So, thank you to the Crytek team members here, but also if there's anyone in Germany watching. You guys are great. We're super happy. The engine's amazing. It's allowing us to do some great stuff, and there's some really great stuff coming down the road that's going to make Star Citizen look even better. So I think you'll all be quite happy. So we have one more development partner here, slightly different than obviously the sort of more game-centric stuff. It's the team that's basically building our whole web infrastructure and the back end, and it's Turbulent, who have done an amazing job. So from maintaining the old site to the new site that we launched in June 28th, and rolling out all the features, because as you can see with what we do here, everything's live all the time. And actually,
JT, we're about 44 minutes into the 2013 CitizenCon live show.
I think us on the game side maybe could learn from that a little bit, because that's not normally how it happens on the game side. But they've been doing an amazing job, and actually there's some really cool features for the game and the community that we're working on that we're actually going to talk about here. But let's run the video, and then I'm actually going to bring up the Turbulent Benoit. And is John coming up with you, or is it just you? Just Benoit. It's not having just sole Benoit. So let's run the video. Let's do it.
This is, let me see if I can pronounce his name. Benoit Beauchesjour.
Sounds good.
Thank you, sir. 07.
And this is years before they did the star map. They won a lot of awards for it.
Hey Star Citizen, welcome to Turbulent's offices in Montreal. My name is Benoit Beauchesjour. I'm the producer on the RSI project here at Turbulent. For those of you who don't know us, we're the web team responsible for building the web infrastructure for RSI. That covers website front end and back end. Our team is filled with web developers, user interface specialists,
for the follow.
Citizen Shenanigans.
Last year
Thank you for the
when
follow.
we were tasked with integrating your Kickstarter pledges from Kickstarter back on the old site. Then we were tasked with supporting the website throughout the Aurora and Shorted Eye promotions, which were critical elements in the game's funding. All the while, we were very busy on the back end, building the new infrastructure, working with Zane, which we flew in here in Montreal, and we locked ourselves in for a few days, and we laid out the technical groundwork and content structure for the website that you guys are seeing online today. So from the MyHanger system,
Zane is currently working on the UI.
To the Voyager Direct Store and the United Earth Credits currency, our team is involved in making these things happen for you guys.
It's amazing to see how much that stuff is still around right now.
By providing them the tools and systems that they need to administer your
foundation
account and close your tickets. And we're also very involved.
I wonder how much Turbulent has grown since
thrives online.
The news, I think
You
it
guys
was the end of
totally
last year
overwhelmed us
that
with the
they
support that you gave this
that
game by
RSI
breaking every
acquired more
single
shares, I
milestone
think.
up to
Or
date.
they
Yeah, you
acquired
make a
more
good
shares.
point, Tenth. Yeah,
Give you
they
guys
invested in
rewards, and
each
we love
other.
doing that.
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
next for us? Right
Good
now, our
point
big
there.
focus is a module we've been developing literally for months.
I can only imagine they've grown a lot.
Game design team.
Yeah,
But
had
maybe
to.
that much. Maybe not that much, but they still do other projects aside from Star Citizen.
You'll be able to put your own logos and badge icons
think
over
that-
there, create your own identity, manage your guild structure, recruit members with the
I think
use
the
of
one key now with now that they're going to integrate some of the contact and friends list into Spectrum, that's a huge step right there. For is it 3.9?
or just disrupting trade routes. So prepare to get your names and symbols ready. We also plan to add a lot more immersion to the game store. We're going to add more stats, more ship renders, more component renders, and alternate ways to browse the store by manufacturer and by other statistics. On the horizon is also
I'm not sure if
the
they're doing a voice
development of the
integration.
Galacpedia, which is a living digital encyclopedia that's also game integrated, where CIG will be able to add curated content to every game world element, as well as allowing you, the community, to contribute edits and game world events. We're really excited to be working on this project, and I wish a happy birthday to Star Citizen and to all backers, whether you're veteran, original, or a new backer. Welcome to the family. Turbulent out.
Turbulent.
What's up, everybody?
It's his company.
So yeah, I'm Benoit. I'm in charge of the web team. What I wanted to talk to you today about,
Back then they had more than one Citizen shenanigan.
basically run you through the basic points of the vision that we'll have on the organization system on the website. So you can start on the first slide, please, Mike. One more.
They introducing organizations back then.
So our main focuses on this project are going to be to allow you to create your organization on the website and in the game infrastructure before the game can actually support it. That's our main goal, and that's what we want to do. So you'll be able to
Yeah, Citizen shenanigans. They just did
and manage those main
what was the other Canadian one that we just saw?
A second set of tools will allow you basically to communicate with your
Anyone remember?
have your discussion inside your own organizations and with other
What,
organizations.
you talking about
All of
Turbulence?
this
It's not Turbulent. The other one we just saw, like before Turbulent.
the university is even able to support it.
Slipping me right now.
One more. So
Yeah, but back
we
then they had more than one
decided
Canadian
up to
company.
now that we're going to replicate the model that you guys are using with the community moniker and handle, where your community moniker is non-unique, but your handle is unique, and we can recognize you throughout the universe. It's going to be the same for your organization. It will have a non-unique name that can be shared, but it will always be identifiable by its organization code, which will be unique throughout the universe. Sort of a organization locator code throughout the communication systems in the game. And then you'll be able to, you can stay on this slide, sorry. And then you'll be able to
Well,
pick
there's one now,
one
but
of four
back then there was
organization
more than one.
types. Either a corporation, which has a mercantile intent, a private military company, which is sort of a corporation with a militarized force, a faith-based organization, where you can have your own cult in there, or a complete syndicate, which is basically a criminal organization.
A lot of this stuff stories.
Inside your organization, you will have four main concepts to work with. The first one, obviously, is a set of roles that will allow you to give permissions to specific members of your organization. You can have multiple roles.
Ilphonics, I don't believe they were Canadian.
No, they were Denver.
Foundership, officership, recruiter. Then all these names can be changed, by the way, so you can customize it. Ranks will allow you to give certain.
But I believe the other one was working on AI stuff.
So that you can have members that are more important than others.
What did CCG bought? Because that was the
high-level management.
The AI was exclusively Moon Collider team of three.
A system of jobs.
That's the Canadian one?
That's changed. No, they weren't Canadian. They were from the UK. Moon Collider.
And it's completely user-defined, so you can decide to have an assault group that you're going to give.
It's amazing. They had like 13 different, not branches, but partners back then.
Yeah.
And the fourth concept that allows you to structure your organization is a very important one, is the divisions. Creating divisions allow you to
citizen
create a corporate
shenanigans.
structure or a militarized structure.
They were based out of
that
Denver.
you can be able to see fit in construction.
Yeah, we were trying to figure out the other
All of
Canadian
this
one.
is
That's what we were
a
talking about.
system that's really flexible and customizable, so that you can
Can't seem
create
to recall.
really big or really small organizations. So with this system, we'll be able to support an organization with 400, 500 members, or an organization with 5. That's basically just the squadron. In terms of management tools, we're thinking about having a recruitment, obviously a set of recruitment tools, which will allow you to post recruiting and posts to get members into your organization, specifying which jobs and which
It's
divisions
funny
are
how
open.
orgs are starting to come on the horizon now.
Which is
Once
linked
they
to a
get
role,
all
so you can have
the
recruiters that do just
server-side
manage only that part of your
streaming
organization.
stuff done
Instead of
and
branding
settled.
tools, which will allow you to
First step is
customize your
that
landing
friends
page
list in
and a set of
3.9.
web pages that
Yep.
are seen on the website so that users can consult.
Spot on, Tim.
That's also managed by a marketing role, so somebody will be able to just take care of branding and take care of your corporate image. The organization manager is really left to somebody within an operations type role, where they can decide who goes into what division, what jobs they get in the organization, if they can promote it or not. And one of the big features that we're thinking of adding is a visual chart tool, which will allow you to represent your organization in the way you see fit. And I've got a couple of examples right up next.
I don't think they implemented that part.
Yeah, I was going to say about that. That would be a good addition if they did that. 'Cause I know there's some orgs that are trying to figure that piece out. But if that's already baked in, you know.
Or a circular organization where a cult would be a bit more inclined.
It would really simplify things. Especially think about this chart or this graphic tool that could be implemented in the capital ships when you battle in an org.
Of course, you need to be able to have your set of posts where you'll be able to post kill shots directly on your organization page. A notification
The event
system
calendar,
allows
they still haven't gotten that one in.
So if we go back to divisions and roles and jobs, you could say, calling all East Coast interceptors, we're under attack. That's an example. Online chat, a private online chat that will allow you to have your guild chat with you online, maybe even on a mobile app if we get there. Private forums will be definitely there so that you can have your own forums on the site to communicate with your members, have your recruiting talks, general chat, all of that directly on your organization page. And an events calendar where members will be able to say at what time they will be playing so that you can schedule your events correctly and know where, we're open for business on.
It's interesting to see that a large number of the audiences are actually CIG employees compared to later years. It's like they were dwarfed by the other attendees who were not work related there.
Where you'll be able to change basically
that hasn't changed.
This page to
Yeah.
suit your needs.
Yeah.
Yeah, the devs had to go to the stage afterwards, behind the curtain.
That's it.
Imagine, and not a lot of promotion for Star Citizen as well. I mean,
it was
yet to do full-on media.
Anyway, I was saying
that's what the investors are for.
Yeah, this is the first. This will be the first iteration of what that will look like.
One thing I just point out on the organization stuff is that that's also going to carry through into the game.
So essentially, this is through internet and word of mouth.
And I would say that's probably something that we're building a game that you just want to be by yourself and play it. You can have completely that sort of privateer freelance experience, but we're also building it.
I will say Chris looked much more relaxed back then than he had in later years.
The passion has not wavered, for sure.
Partly seeing how the community's evolved and how they interact is informed.
He didn't know what he was up. He didn't know what he was getting into.
Because Star Citizen, if it works, which I hope it will, but no, it will.
That'd be good stories too, but Steve. I wonder if we could find anyone who actually went to the 2013 CitizenCon.
But if it does, it will go on for years. So, you want to have the tools to be able to spend the time and get together with your friends and have a good time. So we have another key group at
Scuba, we're still wondering, was this in Austin? Was this held in Austin, this event?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Building the game, but they certainly are on the front line of.
Because I don't think they had the LA, they didn't have the LA studio yet. And that's where some of the devs were dropping off because they didn't want to change their locations, like Eric Peterson and Mark Skelton.
I believe it was Austin 2013, then LA 2014. I want to say Manchester in 2015, then LA 2016, and back to Europe or Frankfurt in 2017.
Yeah, because remember the last show for 2012, Aaron came on board and said, "Hey, Squadron 42 is a go." That was the first iteration of the UK studio, Manchester.
Oh, there she is. Yeah, they both are.
Hello. So we are here to announce the winners of the photo contest.
Andy. Dude, Ben is actually a tall guy. When I first met him,
a big dude.
I'm looking at him like, Ben. I walked up on him like this, and I just gave him a big old hug, man. And he looked at me, and he gave me a Phoenix pin.
Oh, cool.
And I'm happy to say that Ben is still a part of the project. He does, David Ladyman, who retired, Ben took his place as the editor for Jump Point magazine. So if you all are subscribers and you get that magazine, look at towards the end of the credits. You'll see Ben's name there as the editor.
This is Robo Dorn with his homemade RSI hornet.
Look at the fidelity on that ship.
Only available in the military.
True 3D. Physical base rendering.
Next category is no shirt, no problem. Not everybody got shirts, so we went to
Shame they didn't see the inside the cockpit.
Their own Star Citizen costumes or other fancy things. And that goes to Lady Caterpillar. It's a very cool image.
Oh, I don't remember seeing that one.
And
oh,
next
wow.
up, most Star Citizens. Winner is RR Cyberhead and his family with this adorable picture. And last but not least, the Best in Show category, which goes to Aviator Apostle for his homemade RSI armor. We thought this was great because it was the first costume we saw that actually made the costume from the game, so props to him.
I wonder what it looks like to this day. That
All
was
our moderators.
7 years ago.
I generally don't deal with the forums, but as most of you know, I've started Concierge. I've done a lot of customer service over the past year, and sometimes I get a lot of difficult customers for whatever reason that come to me from the forums and say, I just got banned and can you fix it? But our moderators have done a really good job for this whole year. We'd like to thank them. We have Slavic, All Gamer, Toast, Slow Reflex,
People say to make him depressed looking back and forth. It doesn't make me depressed, it makes me look forward to what's to come.
Ryzen Bull, and Lala. So thank you to all the moderators.
I mean, considering back then to now, we're closer to it now than we were back then, definitely.
And before I hand it to Ben, who's going to talk about some of the other community people, I would like to thank Chelsea, who works with me, and she works with most of you guys on birthday today, so. Eternally 21, like the rest of us. All right.
Yeah, this is back when the happy birthday was
Thank you.
All right, I'd just like to thank some of the other folks at Cloud Imperium who they're not necessarily
Hey, Black Intellect, you still can't do that. Sorry.
customer service. So our web folks, John Erskine, Zane Bien, Justin Binford, Alexis Lesnick from customer service, Chelsea, of course. Anybody else? No? Yeah, everybody stand up, stand up.
Been playing the soulmate with Alexis.
David Ladyman, right?
07 Lebo 0. Thanks for the follow. I was the QC manager now, and Zane, he's over in the UK now. He does all the user interfaces and the button presses for our components and devices.
Right, David? Or is it you just doing joint layout? Okay, it's all David. Sorry, I'm fine. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, have we got everyone here? Okay, all right. And the community.
Like,
well, yes.
every time
so
you saw someone new come into the chat, someone said, "Oh, they're so young."
We wouldn't be here, and we won't be making the game that we have dreamed of making for a long time without everyone's support. Yeah, I think the community, everyone.
What video is this?
Community
See what Scuba put in chat? They're live from the Alamo Draft House.
Oh,
07 Scuba Steve.
A little hot, so I'm going to take this off. Actually, it's a shameless plug for the polo shirt because we're going to have that on sale this weekend, limited until Monday too. And then we're going to plug
the merch.
You want to
Feel
free to
go with that 10 star.
Here comes the merch, baby.
Mission Control, good evening. Mission Control, good
shit.
evening. This is Commander Roberts. Beijing
There
Command,
he is.
Boundary 42. Come in.
This is Mission Control.
That's
Receiving,
it.
Commander.
The Eagle has
Squadron
landed.
42.
The Eagle has landed. Strike Recon team is online.
Acknowledged, Commander. Transmit identification data now.
Transmitting now.
Confirmed, Commander. Personnel validated. Strike team assembled. Mission is a go. I repeat, mission is a go. Execute Executive Order Squadron 42. Good hunting, Commander.
Thanks, Control. Good to be back.
Nick Elms.
I met him in 2016.
They're good friends. Phil Miller. They grew up together. Aaron and Chris.
My brother and actually some people that I've actually been friends with since I was 3 and worked on my very
Scuba
first
Steve,
game.
I was just commenting about that, very same thing.
Pretty much my whole life, and were a large part of what we did at Digital Anvil and even before at Origin. Have left their current place where they were working. They were basically Traveler's Tales making Lego Star Wars for the last 6 or 7 years.
Digital Anvil. That was the Microsoft project they were on.
Yeah.
And Aaron was a developer there too.
So we're sort of upgrading them to real spaceships instead of Lego spaceships. But they're an incredibly talented group. So we're actually going to be opening up Cloud Imperium Manchester, which will be the 3rd of our internal studios. And their focus will be on the single-player aspect of the whole Star Citizen Squadron 42. So they're going to be sort of the lead studio on Squadron 42, even though the other studios are all going to support them.
So it wasn't 2012, it's
So it'll be a
2013.
combination between all, but they'll be actually doing the brunt of the design and implementation side, and I can't think of a better group to do it. I mean, they've done some really great stuff before. They know this genre. We've all worked together, and I think it's just going to make Star Citizen Squadron 42 a much better game. So I'm really happy to have some good friends and family back.
Miles Eckhart, that's Phil Miller.
So
That's
good to have you back, guys.
his CGI capture.
So now would be the time. So the other things that we're going to do is we're releasing an update of the Hangar where we're adding a fair number of things to it as part of the celebration of the 1 year time. So we used to have the Hangar demo down here, and I was going to run it, but we had HDMI issues. So now it's up there. I think it's potentially running or can run, so maybe we'll run it. Okay, here we go. So,
what year was the infamous Red One? Was that 2015?
He's about Disco Lando.
Because it looks like it's missing some of the things that we'll you guys will be able to download tomorrow. So we're not going to actually...
It could have been 2016.
It was
I'm not sure on the year. It could have been.
Now also have the...
Cause that was LA, and I was there for LA. I'm going to say it was 2015.
Red One. Red One.
Justin will use
Check out the hangar. Wow.
I miss how expensive the hangars used to be. Like I would prefer to have a wider hangar to put more ships in than the single single big ship hangar. But
I guess. Well,
so they may bring this back. They may bring this back. And keep in mind, this had 2 levels to it. This particular hangar.
Unfortunately, we actually had this working back at the office.
They still do.
I think some of you that wandered around saw this, but for whatever reason, the build at the office, when it went onto the...
This looked like the Rebel New York one. What would become the Rebel New York hangar?
Well, the designs came a little later when they redid the designs and put in the physical base rendering for hangars.
Beautiful. It's built by Nathan Dearsley, who's our artist.
When they had the concept of ship manufacturer, they looked at the hangars and said, okay, we need manufacturers for particular hangars. Like you said, fastcart, Rebel in York.
So Nathan
Southland.
Yep,
not only
Southland.
built it in engine, but he actually completely designed it. So he went from...
Yeah, that looks like the deluxe one. Exactly.
Yep.
You were about, what, 4,
And I think
5 years at
this particular hangar, the number of ships you had, it automatically scaled to accommodate your number of ships. And that gave birth to the golf cart, the buggy. You gotta have that buggy, man. I mean, it's like like the Bruce Wayne of freaking Star Citizen. Jeez.
And then here is the fish tank that we promised for 20 million with the Midas fish in.
The fish tank. I think I got one.
Oh yeah, we still need that.
Check out your fish tank.
Because I mean, down the line, once they open up oceans, I got to start fishing, being a sci-fi Jacques Cousteau, and then selling fish and putting them in my tank, man. I got to do it.
I wonder if the fish works in the fish tank at the moment.
Tomorrow.
Oh, that's a good question, fastcart.
Did they break every other patch or whatever?
I mean, again, we've been so immersed in the PU as it is, and I think once we get that server iCache and the physicalized objects and actual things that'll stay along with that, you add in your hangars, this needs to come back. This needs to be revisited again.
So he's saying they've been gone for a long time, so...
Yes.
Are we looking?
When I'm in my hangar, I don't worry about my decorations anymore because I know they're gonna be white again. But with stuff being more consistent now, I might try to decorate again.
Yeah, I don't see any of this coming to fruition until we get iCache. And once iCache is settled in and it's a part of the main branch of Star Citizen, then I'm looking forward to it. Outside of that, I'm expecting wipes each and every time based upon the tech hurdles that they have to get beyond.
Come together and compete to build a ship that will actually go in the game. So I'm going to run a little video, but we're announcing Robert Space Industries.
I can't imagine if the hangar back then would expand to how many other ships you had in your hangar back then, or had in your account back then. I can't imagine someone like Griffin Gaming logging into his hangar and seeing a big old
Hey there, citizens and civilians.
890 jump in his
Welcome
hangar
to the
and all the
quest
other
for
ships
the
he
next
has.
great starship. Star Citizen is calling all you modelers,
Oh, this is
testers,
the announcement
and
for
riggers
next
for
great
the likes
starship.
of a
Okay.
modding competition
That pushed them to
never seen
spawning
before.
ships from the hangar because of that.
And we know that's
The
just
tech
the
that
iceberg.
was on
So
the
in the
hangar.
spirit of Star Citizen's open development philosophy, we've decided to create a competition to build Robert Space Industries' next great starship. If you're an aspiring modder, a modeler, or just a conceptual designer or artist, we encourage you to enter this competition. If you're accepted, you'll be mentored by various members of the Cloud Imperium team and judged by a panel of expert judges, including me, and the community to find RSI's next great starship.
Tune in
'Cause
every
I'm an
week
expert.
to see these teams battle it out in a series of challenges, being mentored and judged.
Yeah, this is
by
based
some
on
of
a
the
team
best
of 3
in the business. The show
for the
goes on
contest.
until one team remains, taking home the grand prize of $30,000 in cash, your spaceship in-game, and the title of the next great starship. So if you find yourself dreaming of vertices, polygons, or thruster arrays, don't wait. Get the details at robertspaceindustries.com.
And these guys got beefed up rigs as well, PC rigs too, each and every one of them.
Okay, so we're actually what isn't mentioned in that video is we have like a pretty incredible group of partners in that. So we're partnering with YouTube, and they're going to promote it on their channel. Autodesk is actually contributing some significant additional prizes. So the first prize will not only be the money, but there'll be like
They had three members of a team to work on this project. And shout out to 07 to Elwin Batchelor Jr. He did it by himself, and he was a runner-up. He didn't win, but he was able to win a job at SIG, and now he's one of the main developers for the ships. Elwin Batchelor Jr.
So we kind of can't be in the middle. We love both you guys. But yes, AMD is providing some great graphics cards for the winners of the competition.
Another age gone
But
by at least
we
40
basically,
pounds.
when we build our spaceship,
I'm trying not to read Shiver's text.
Me
You're so wrong, man. You're so wrong.
well over $100,000. The bigger ones have, involve a lot of.
07, Chris. Shiver's terrible.
All of them? No. Okay. So we have 17 artists down in Monterey that are assigned to Star Citizen, and of course that had Ryan Church working on before, and it's been a long process. So it's pretty complicated. So we sort of said, what would be really fun would be to take the budget of one of our smaller ships and apply it to
And
this
Chris,
competition,
he got the hands dialed in, man. It's
how the ships get
it's
built
ingrained
along the
in him.
way, and also sort of vote on which ships they like. And
You take that leg away from him,
the idea
he's
is, to the submission. We start taking submissions on I think October 31st through the end of the year. We're going to ask the initial the teams to submit a weapon design, so it's a much smaller task, and then we'll pick the top choices there, and then they'll go into the bigger competition that we'll sort of do as you would typically do with judges, and we'll over 6 months broadcast to the community, and everyone will vote. And I think it'll be really fun.
See, I wish we could have a place like that back. Like we could eat and drink in the same venue.
Attention and love. And
can't do that anymore.
And we like it. It's kind of geeky, but I think it'll be cool. So that is the next great starship. So speaking of starships.
Yeah, they were really strict about that there. The convention center were really strict about that.
Some spaceship flying around that you haven't seen yet.
Not eating in the convention center.
We're going to debut the Hornet commercial right now for you guys. Tomorrow the Hornet's going to go on sale along with the brochure, on the website and a bunch of.
I was going to say anything about that black intellect. I was going to let that go.
But this is created by.
We see it though. We see it. We see it.
Yeah, we see it.
Whoa.
Did the 300i and actually did the initial cinematic Squadron 42 video. So without further ado, and by the way, this is going to get improved and finessed, and this is temp sound, and we're going to put some more shots in it. But it's CitizenCon, so I pushed it up in early because I figured you
like that one.
Laser bolts and explosions. So let's run it.
Legendary fighter pilot R.A. O'Reilly once said,
trying really hard.
"Give me a fully loaded Hornet,
the interesting
and I'll
thing
shake the
is
gates of
the
heaven."
appeal of what Star Citizen is essentially about. It pulled in not just cultures, different cultures, but people of different nations. I mean, all over, from Australia to France, Germany. That's pretty neat. And especially the women. The women are essential to this game, and there's a lot of female players that are in the game.
Anvil Aerospace's Hornet
You don't even see that.
Sheon,
It's amazing to me that there are more women in these crowds. The male
We've
rate goes
logged
higher
more combat time and
in
kills
this
in
crowd
more
than it
theaters
had been
than any other ship in the history of space
2015
combat.
or 2016.
Well, you see, I think that's how you have something. Custom greatness, right? That people who play games will come to this from whatever kind of game background you have, whether you're a designer,
Battle tested in the harshest
you're into sci-fi,
conditions.
not into sci-fi,
The Hornet has
whatever.
proven time and again
Then you
its
come into
ability
the
to
community
withstand damage
and then you stick around, right? Like,
and still
even
be able to
even
dish
when
it
the
out.
game is in development like this, I think that's how you know like something is going right here. And I mean, aside from the game still being in development and we're still waiting for a lot of things, but the community is strong, and I think it just got stronger over the years. And so it's kind of cool to take a look back and see, this is kind of their presentation now, and then think back to last year and the production value.
With
of
all
that
the
whole
punishment
thing.
it
They're
handles on a
streaming,
daily
like,
basis, don't you
they
think
have
the
two
new Hornet
different
can
kind of
handle
workshops
yours?
going on, and it's just a whole bunch of content. So I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Well said, Tim. I wholeheartedly agree with that. It's other aspects, like you said, there's other layers as far as the game. You have the development, you have devs who are women or who are a part of this process as well. Yep, I totally agree.
Anvil's new Hornet F7C. See your authorized ship dealer
even
for
to
options.
add on to that, like they're part of the process and like it's accepted, like their work is on par. Like it's just like, hey, this is cool what you're, that, and I think that's for everybody in the community, like content creators too, like what you're putting out, like that's cool.
Just to let you guys
Good stuff.
know,
And that's the kind of community you want to be a part of, right? And that's how this game has grown. And to the number it's at, like $275 million, like makes sense,
Yep.
But essentially, that commercial had both.
Oh, I wanted to point out back then, I think the highest, they showed a screenshot of the crowdfunding page. I think it was at 10 million back around this time.
That is our year.
At least the screenshot they had.
Do you guys think they even, at this point, they even thought that they would be making, if you walked up to Chris Roberts then in 2013 and asked him, do you think your company would surpass 100 million or even double that in the next 7 years? Like, what do you think his response?
I think he would have been supplied by 50 million, leave alone 100 or 200.
I mean, 10th, that's a great question, but I would have to say no way they expected that, and even to the extent of what fastcart talked about earlier about the backer goals. They had to shut that thing down, man, because like what, 65 million. They had to shut it down. They were like, okay, and it went to that word or verbiage they talk about, feature creep. It went to the edge, and it was just like, okay, let's cut it off. We can't do this. We can't do
Imagine
this.
Imagine if they hadn't shut that down and they still be adding goals every 5 million. How many goals do you think?
Wow.
We would have so many goals by now.
Yeah. He had no idea. He was like, "What? Wait a minute! Now I got to really kick this stuff out and make it happen."
Thank you for your really hard work.
But I agree with what Black Intellect 73 said, that on the tail end of his comment, man, I did not imagine how this community has really embraced each other and supported each other over the years in this project, and we're still here, and it's getting stronger.
That so I don't know, FC, where you're gonna go with this, but I just want to say before we get off the topic here, but it was cool to see a CitizenCon this way because it shows the kind of the early days, right? Like this is where it was, like this is what we were doing. We were a year into the project, Chris was talking about, a year or two down the road having this be, finished up and da 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 da. And it was just this really like tight-knit community, and you could tell they were so happy with the project that they had even then, right?
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know, it's just kind of funny to see, where you think you are, like where you were, years ago, and what your thought process were. And I just wonder sometimes, if sometimes Chris might go back, or even any of the team goes back and looks at like old sitcoms and like, wow, can't believe
If they're anything
we're
like
like down
myself,
the road this way.
if they're anything like myself, it's hard to go back and look at old footage of yourself. So I'm assuming
Yeah.
I'm guessing not, but maybe they can.
Yeah.
Well, I think that it's what we saw here. It's not that far off of the foundation that they laid in and set as a standard or the template. It's not that far from what they're attempting to do, and it's very refreshing to see that it's in close proximity. It's running in parallel to what they established from the beginning, and that's good to see.
Yeah, that's how you know, like they still have a North Star, like they're still uh producing on what they said they were going to do, and then they're just enhancing it, right?
Yep.
And they're doing it over this period of time. And some people say, you get the naysayers, right? But I think you get the people in the community that we were a part of saying, like, we want the project to succeed. We want you guys to keep going forward.
Yeah.
And I've said it before, like Star Citizen and CIG Robert Space Industries, they're on a quest to deliver perfection, right? And
oh yeah,
you have to figure out, like, at what point have you delivered what is essentially how great it's going to be, and at what point is at what point do you tip over into like diminishing return, right? And I think that's always a fine line in game development and efficiency models and everything that they're kind of doing. They're like right at that line, and so a lot of people don't play that close to the fence. They put something out and they're just like, hey, great, and they could have done so much more, but nobody has any regrets because they move on to the next deal and next deal and the next deal. But you get someone like Chris Roberts in the team that's like, this is going to be a legacy game for us. This is going to be something that we continue, long after, some of these early people have moved on, like people are going to pick this project up and continue carrying it. That's where you have to always be, be playing like full tilt. You got to out and you got to make it work. So, so I don't know. I just appreciate where this is at and where we're at now. Still waiting for 3.9. Still waiting, but like
sync issues.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on with it out here, but yeah, even in the broader sense. And the other thing I like to say too, like if you guys really think about it, you got sitcons, which are kind of like these annual milestones. You got patches, which are these kind of like these little sprints and whatnot. And I don't know, maybe not sprints, but yeah, the games cons, right? Cons. But every time that passes and you hit these patches and these 0.01 patches and these these conferences and whatnot is one step closer to the game being developed, right?
Yeah.
So, or to the game being kind of opened up and having everything it wants to have. So I think it's really, for those of us in some days we're just like, man, like I jumped in the verse yesterday, and I was doing a little bit of mining, and it felt sticky, and I was just like, oh gosh, like, and then I ended up 30King at one point, and I was like, oh man, this is rough, But you're thinking too, like, well, the technical answer is, well, Evo's up, right? Or PTU is up for the Evo, but
Yes.
but the other part is, okay, you know what, like. They're working on it. Every day is progress, because we know out of the 500 plus employees there, it's safe to say that, at least 97, 98% of them, are just full send on this project, with the other 3% continue being weeded out because they're just there for a job, trying to do something. But so the majority of people who are working on the project wanted to succeed, and every step they take is one step closer. So that's kind of the hope, it's just like, all right, you're part of something, and every step, you take is one moving forward.
All right, but before we get to the question,
Totally
we are
agree.
taking questions, by the way. Kimmy, do you have any thought you want to share now that you've seen the video?
Tenth said it. He said it. He spoke well on it. And again, it's basically legacy. They're entrenched into changing game history. And as they said that what they're going to bring out to deliver, they're in that cadence to do it. And it hasn't gone so far from what 2013 has shown us. But yeah, well said, Tenth. I totally agree.
I agree too. I just want to add, just so everyone, everyone should come in to the Twitch chat and all the comments on it. They look so young. Look how skinny he is.
Hey, that's across the board, all of us.
Yeah. So Silver Battery asks, which, if any of the sitcoms have the cast been to, and do they have any favorite moments from when and if they went? Tenth, do you have one?
So straight off the bat, I have not been to a CitizenCon.
Oh man.
So here's the deal. So, hopefully this COVID business subsides by November, because it's in LA and I can get down to LA really fast. I'm only in Northern California.
You say by November? It's in October.
Or October. Yeah, right, October. So yeah, it needs to whatever it happens, needs to happen soon, right? We need to please do not shut down the LA Convention Center, because we want to be there for it. But I'm totally looking forward to getting down there and being a part of the SitCon, because I haven't gone to one before, so that'll be my first one this year if we get a chance to go.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's decided by July, because they're currently using the venue, the LA Convention Center, as a triage center or hospital right now. So
that's right. Yeah, I saw that.
If it's still going on by August, I'm not confident that they'll be able to clean it up and be ready by about October.
But you'll know. Yeah, you'll know way before then. Yeah, absolutely.
What about you, Kimmy?
Yeah, well, as I said earlier in the show, is a quasi CitizenCon for me, which was actually Dragon Con of that same year. They did CitizenCon, and most recently was 2018 CitizenCon for me. That was my very first CitizenCon, and it was totally magic, man. Let me tell you, I was up at like 4 a.m. I did not get to sleep until like 4 a.m. It went from 4 a.m. to 4 a.m. nonstop. Okay. And it was magic. I met you, fastcart there. That was great. And towards the end, it was like after 3 a.m. and Chris did all the signing. And unfortunately, I got in the line too late to have anything signed. And dude, I started talking to him across the velvet rope. Told him about my encounters with Wing Commander Privateer, and did not realize who he was at that time. Essentially, he was a whiz kid, basically strapping on the Origin company on his back and putting him on the map. And I told him how it changed my life as far as I really delving into computers based upon Wing Commander, having to have the speech pack. And I mean, it was so cool. And then building from a community with Wing Commander experience. And he shook my hand, and then we took pictures together, man. Like, again, magic. Cool. Dude is essentially a true gamer in all the sense of the word. The devs, Chris Smith, Alistair Brown, Ali Brown, Todd Pappy, Brian Chambers, we had a cold one together. And let me tell you, these guys love what they do. They're passionate about it. So it's not a scam. It's not a scam. But dude, 10th, if you can get there, guys, if you can get there to the next CitizenCon, please make it happen. Content creators, it was all love, man. Let me tell you, it was all freaking love. So yeah, my first experience was magic. So that's what I got on that.
Well, for me, I went to my first CitizenCon was 2016 in LA. Met a whole bunch of people. And I went to VerseCon in Austin the year after that, because they were in, I want to say, Frankfurt that year in 2017. And then I went to Austin in 2018. But the past year in 2019, I didn't go anywhere because it was so close to the holiday. But as far as for me, I'd go for the community. I just love seeing people, getting hugs for everyone, and meeting people for the first time face to face, hanging out, having a good grand old time. Because I mean, like CitizenCon, well, back then it was more like a 2-hour thing, and we would get together and pilot into a convention auditorium, and then go our separate ways. But when we went our separate ways, we would come back together at Bar Citizens, and there would be events all over the place every day, multiple events per day, barbecues, stuff like that. So I love the community.
Awesome.
All right, so next question. Oh, yeah, just a reminder, we are taking questions, so you want to you have a question, put a question in bracket, followed by your question. So Black Intellect asks, how do you think the Quantanium, I think that's how you pronounce it, and the instability will change mining and hauling gameplay? Kemi, you want to go first this time?
I'm going to let 10th go on that. I just spilled my drink.
Uh-oh.
You got something for that one?
You take care of that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Quantanium. I was doing some mining in 3.7, and that was a lot of fun. Like especially with the multi-crew aspect to the mole. But I think adding Quantanium and its instability will be quite interesting because you're also adding in mining consumables for your lasers, and so players are going to be figuring out what the best combinations are to actually extract the gas. And then I thought I read somewhere about how being able to transport it is going to play a factor in hauling as well. So with this instability, if it arrives, you could ruin cargo, and I think that's going to be a pretty cool aspect to hauling gameplay, even though I don't do a lot of hauling. But I'm just very much interested in seeing the additions to this loop. Because I think a lot of people do like this portion of it. Like for me, I'm not a combat guy. To the extent that I have org mates who are very much into combat. So this is the kind of gameplay that I'm very much into. More the revenue generation, right? Like how do you actually make money in the verse so that you can fund org activities or small contingents or even pay for security on some of these missions. So it's pretty cool. I think Quantanium is going to be cool to mine and cool to figure out where to sell and what it goes for, how to actually do it right. So I'm interested. Yep.
Okay, I'm ready to get in on that question. Essentially, the elements are supply and demand and risk reward. It all breaks down to that. that caveat of what this is about, and it lends to the realism of what Star Citizen is really trying to hit on all cylinders in that regard, that realism. And so I see myself in that situation where I'm like, hell no, I'm going to be moving that type of cargo. But basically, depending on my bottom line and what things that occur that affect me in a negative way, I may have no choice but to take that cargo on and try to deliver it. But wow, what a funny moment when you're trying to move this and things really go south, with that type of cargo. So yeah, I do fully accept it, but I will avoid it like the plague. Really, I will. But if I have to run it, I'm gonna try and run it. But it could go south deeper. So yeah, it's good for the gameplay though. I totally agree with what Tenth was saying. It makes a lot of sense in the game.
Yeah, for me, one of my professions that I want to get into is a little bit of cargo hauling. Like I'll mostly be a marketeer for selling and manufacturing. I'll be manufacturing stuff with my Endeavor and then selling it on my vendor Michigan. That's my idea anyway. So as far as hauling unstable stuff, not so much, but we find hauling like more stable cargo. That's just me. I don't see any further questions, but I have a question for myself. Given that we just watched 2013 CitizenCon, do you have any favorite part of what we just watched? Kimmy, if you have something.
Oh, I'm gonna let TenthSigma go first.
It was good seeing the whole thing. What gave me what gave me vibes though was seeing the old Origin 325 commercial, because that was the commercial that that got me into the game.
Oh,
right?
really?
Yeah, it was. I'm an Origin guy through and through. I'm waiting for one more Origin ship, which I'm crossing my fingers might drop maybe soon.
Well, but just as a side note, what was it specifically about the Origin commercial that got you into it?
It was so sleek, right? Okay, think about it like this, FC. If you're coming like into a game, right? Like I was an ETH player before this, and and you're coming into a game and you're playing and to me every space sim focused on like combat, right? Like focused on pew-pewing things and focused on like kind of the militaristic side of life in the verse, right? But when this game was introduced to me, it was more of like the all-encompassing aspect of living inside of a universe, right? Where it's living, it's breathing. There's certainly military pieces to it, but there's also pieces of just civilian life, right? Like people who are just living amongst the stars, and this showed me like one of the first things that showed me that people could actually create kind of this luxurious lifestyle in the verse, and that's just what hooked me, because it was like, whoa, like this is totally different from what I'm used to, right? And then they continue to expand upon that, with just like the working class person, the more luxury ships, like all the rest of the Origin ships that came through, all that kind of. But that particular one, when my wife and I were watching the commercial, it just kind of showed, this guy, just a normal dude, looks like he's, they said it's the BMW of the verse, There's kind of this middle management type of guy, just kind of living his life, and he's not a fighter. He's just this guy who's living in the stars, and this is his ride, and this is the life that he was, living. And I just thought it was so cool, and then fast forward, I have all the Origin
let me ask you this real quick. You have the Origin 300 line. You have all the special add-ons that you can put on our ship now. You have everything.
Yeah.
And how many 300 ships do you have? All of them?
I just have one of each variant, one in each of the categories, right? So one 300 size, one 100, 600, 890, and the bike.
Okay.
The X1.
Cool.
That's
the X1. Yeah. The X1 Force.
Which what was your favorite part of 2013 CitizenCon?
You said what was my favorite moment of 2013?
Yeah. My favorite part.
Oh wow. I think it was for me. It was the concepts. For me, it's always the concepts of what they're planning out, and you then can take that and go forward with that. And how does that change? And how does it stay the same but get better in that sense? So that's one of the things or compelling things I thought was for me. I enjoyed with the 2013 version of CitizenCon, and
For
it
me,
was all about concept.
For me, it was just seeing what ships were coming out back then. Like we saw the not Redeemer, Retaliator, and we saw the Gladiator. I didn't know that was the year they were announced. So that was interesting to me. And like I said before, you could see the design between the two. They're similar but different. But at least for me, I still have trouble telling Aegis and Anvil apart. So it was neat to see that, and also seeing all the different companies that they were partnered with back then.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, that was.
And so far, it seems like Turbulent is still around. But as far as the others, they opened up their own offices within CI to take care of the branches that they were working on. And this is well, Ephonics was always redacted, so I'm not sure.
You gotta feel bad.
Yeah, they were.
You had one job.
Ephonics was always redacted, so I'm not sure if they were involved back then or not. But it doesn't look like it.
No, they weren't partner. They were contracted from Denver.
Right.
And come on, guys.
I'm trying to look at the chat real quick. All right. So I guess that covers it. You guys want to plug anything before we leave?
I'll say this, that SIG is, if not stronger, from what we've seen, they're definitely a much stronger and in a more of a secure place than they were at 2013. And those ambitions, we could see what those ambitions were, the passion, it's multiplied exponentially. And I think we all kind of feel and understand we're on the cusp of them really making another as far as the tech hurdles and really propelling us what this future is going to be about as far as the game, and really feeling like this is a really lived in and simulated real like a version of the persistent universe or our universe, a mirror image of with some fantasy aspects to it, such as the alien races. But I mean, it's very compelling, though.
Oh, I forgot to say something else. Seeing the alien concept back then, that was interesting to me too.
Oh yeah,
mm-hmm.
How about you? Anything you want to plug or final thoughts?
No, I thought it was good. Yeah, I just I'm looking forward to seeing more. I think if I had to fast forward back to then, and I was looking at 2013, I'm like, yeah, I would love to learn more about this project, back into a little bit more. And I guess the only regret I have with Star Citizen is not getting in on it earlier. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of where I'm sitting with it. So obviously, great work here, and it's just good to see that progress is being made, and the game is beautiful compared to what we were just looking at. It's really cool.
Yeah. All right, so yes, the guys covered much of my thoughts. It was great to see taking a look back to 2013. I'm looking forward to future episodes where we're going to cover more CitizenCon. I'm not sure when the next episode is. When the next video that we'll watch is, but we're probably going to have another episode of Soul Citizen next week, so stay tuned for that. I'm fastcart, also know the FT. We got KEMI65 and TenthSigma, so take care.